This is John for Global Women's Sports Radio. Today, I have the pleasure of being on the beat with the Ohio State softball player, Lexie Handley. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks for joining. But let me start off by asking you, how cool is it for you to finish your softball career? I know you're not from exactly Columbus, but it's still your home state. So how cool is that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Definitely not the plan that I had set up for myself, but I'm so thankful for this step. It was awesome to be able to explore somewhere new and to be able to fall in love with Ohio again.
Now, can I ask you, it's a silly question, but I'll ask anyway. Your number is 00. Your number before was, I believe, 27. Was there any reason for the 00?
I think it was kind of like there's nothing left. Like there's nothing, no other chance. So this is all you got. And one of my best friends from Auburn, Justice Perry, she helped me kind of navigate that because it's like an emotional thing when an athlete, loses her number. So yeah, 00 just kind of meant there's nothing left. This is it. And here we go. So yeah.
So if there's nothing left of your playing career, what is left? What is next, I should say, for you?
Yeah, sure. So, well, I guess I should kind of specify there's nothing left in my college softball career because college softball has been so special for me. But I am actually continuing my career in Italy. I leave next Wednesday, so like 6 days from today. And I'm going to be spending the next 6 months over there competing and helping to grow their game over there. And then trying to figure out what's after that. So hopefully gonna coach when I'm done, but I don't know where yet, and I don't know what my next stop will be.
Well, that's exciting. How did the Italy thing come to be?
The good Lord put the right people in my corner, and I had some great people actually in Auburn who had some connections to some clubs over in Italy, and yeah, they took a chance on me, and I'm super excited, and I am a little stressed out right now because my apartment is like a mess, but it's okay.
Have you ever been to Italy?
I have not, no. So this is the first for me.
Do you speak any Italian?
I started like playing around with Duolingo, like the little app, but I am not very good at it yet. No.
Well, it should be a good time. You should have some good food out there anyway.
Yes, right.
Now you mentioned the good Lord. I know that you're pretty open about your faith,
Mm-hmm.
and you're pretty open about awareness to mental health. Where did you find the strength to? Are those actual decisions you made, or does it just come natural that you're open about that?
Yeah, I think, you learn as a college softball or as a college athlete that you have a platform and whatever you do with that platform is for your choosing. And so, Christ has been the center of the decisions that I've made for myself. And he's been so promising in keeping my path aligned with his. And so that's been easy to speak out about, right? Because there's no sense on earth of why my story lines up the way that it does. But mental health was a harder thing, I think, for me to talk about just because of the stigma around it and because, it's kind of still a newer topic in today's society. But I kind of came to the conclusion with the help of some therapists and some of the great people around me that like if I don't speak out about it, how can I ever help other people when I want to be a coach? So I value mental health the same way that I value like my body being prepared for a game. And it's not always easy, especially when you read things online about people saying, tough it out, you have everything in front of you, all this stuff. People think they're so powerful behind a keyboard, but really, trying to shut that down and trying to make it more normal that, hey, some days are better than others. And sometimes you go through hard seasons and you need some extra support.
No, I think it's really important, especially for a young athlete like yourself. People would look at you and say, like, she's a young athlete, she's on top of the world. You've got issues, I have issues, we all have issues. But for someone like you to speak out on that, I think it's really important, especially for the younger kids, because there's so much going on today. And to be open about it, I think I applaud you for doing all that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now going on to a lighter topic, I read in one of your on your Twitter account that you said that you will die on the hill that the softball community or softball team is the funniest bunch. So I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to tell me one or two funny things from the softball world.
Sure. Yes, that is a hill I will die on for the rest of my life because I have been on 3 college softball teams and I've also been a part of like other groups of people. And they're like, I don't know what it is, but like the sense of humor is just immaculate. It's perfect, and it is so spot on. And oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot here.
I know it's early.
Yeah, let me think. So it was, and I feel like it's not always like jokes, it's just like situations, and it's like, how on earth did this just happen to me and us? And so like one that I can think of, we were in Florida sometime this year. I forget which Florida trip it was, but there were probably 6 or 7 of us. It was a really random group of people. It was like me, a couple juniors, a freshman, and a few sophomores. So like a really like group of people that doesn't really hang out outside of like softball a whole lot. And we were sitting at the pool, and it was like 9 at night, and we were doing some homework because we were still in the middle of the semester. And there were like probably 8 or 9 guys that came down all together, like a whole group of dads. Like they had their kids with them, their wives, whatever. Well, all of these dads had gone to either Ohio State or OU. So like they were asking us about, they hadn't been to Columbus. They kind of scattered around the country now. This is like a reunion, whatever. And they were asking us about like, the nightlife in Columbus and like the changes that have happened since then. And like just the conversation, it was so raw, but it was like, oh my gosh, like, the same places that like these guys go and hang out. It was so funny. And then an actual like funny story was actually this past weekend in Tennessee, where we finished up in regionals. We were sitting at breakfast the last day of the Sunday. We were taking off at like 10:30, so it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And we're sitting there, and like in front of us is the window that like looks out to the courtyard. And we're sitting there, and I'm sitting by my best friend Caitlin Kaufman, and she goes, "That's one of our book bags out there." Well, a man had come in the hotel, and we always put all our stuff together and go eat, and then go up and leave, because I've done it for 6 years. It's fine. No, and nothing has ever happened to me like this. Well, a man came in, waited for us to all leave, picked up a book bag, and was going to walk away with it. So there were 10 of us that chased him down the riverbank, and he ended up dropping it. We got the stuff back, but it was just one of those like situational ironies. I was like, oh my goodness, our softball is over. We're literally a half hour from going home, and almost just, this book bag had, I'm sure, a laptop,
Sure.
an iPad, who knows what else, phone chargers, phones, who knows. So just like funny stuff like that just makes the world go around.
Well, that would have been his mistake, because I know you guys are great athletes. So to be chased by 8, 9, 10 athletes, he's lucky he dropped the bag and left.
He is, and he's lucky that there weren't a couple other people down there who would have kept chasing him and probably know that he was in the wrong.
Now, do you have any pregame rituals? Like, is there a certain meal you eat? Is there a certain way that before you enter the game? Is there anything that you do just out of habit?
Sure. So I always wear the same 3 earrings in my ears, and my hair is always braided the same way. And Reagan Milliken, one of the girls on our team, she's a sophomore now, just finished her freshman year. She did my hair before every game. And then I wear the same 2 necklaces every game because they are from my brothers. So yeah, that's kind of I'm more of like a looks person, I guess. Like, not like rituals I try to stay away from because situations change and you can't get too caught up in that. But I just feel most comfortable with my my jewelry.
Now, I have to ask you this. I'm obviously, I love softball. I go to I follow Northwestern, DePaul, and Loyola. I'm in Chicago, and every time I go with any of my friends, the guys will inevitably go, "I could hit this pitcher," and I will go, "You couldn't hit this pitcher if you had 1,000 swings." So have you experienced that with any guy friends, or fathers of other players?
100%. And it's so funny because like the movement is so different than baseball. And like, I could never hit a baseball. So it's the same exact thing. Like you can't hit a softball, I promise you. And I can't hit a baseball, and that's fine. But yeah.
It's so funny because I say that all the time and they never believe me. And of course, they'll never have the opportunity to do it because it's just ridiculous.
Right.
But I did play an exhibition game years ago. I faced Kirsten Verdon, who played for DePaul and now is coaching at Wisconsin. My strategy was I fouled the ball off, and then I worked a ball out of it. So I went down, I struck out then.
Okay, well, congratulations.
But I had no chance of hitting her. These guys have no chance of hitting her. I just wondered if you ever encountered that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every softball pitcher has had to defend herself at least probably 10 times to males.
Now, when you have, I know you've had a very good career, but if you had a bad day on the mound, how quickly do you forget about that, and how do you bounce back from that?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard. But I think, now that I've been able to do this for 6 years, like this year was a lot different because I do have more like emotional control. So, I think of like the game against Northwestern where they lit me up. And I was just so flustered because I was like, this hasn't happened before. This is like the first time all season that I wasn't like the dominant. Like, yeah, I had some losses, but it wasn't like, that they're just amazing. That's why they're still playing and they're hosting supers. And so, I complained about it to my dad on the ride home because I was in Columbus and he came back to my apartment. And we have like kind of this unsaid rule that like you have like 10 minutes, say it, cry, say whatever you want, swear, whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, what are we doing for dinner? Like, what's next? So, trying to have thick skin about it and realize that with softball too, it's such a quick turnaround. Even if it is a Sunday game, like you have 5 days to prepare for your next opponent. So you can't dwell on it for too long.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention the Northwestern game. Obviously, I was cheering for Northwestern at the time. I know they came into Columbus, and I believe they took all three. So I didn't want to bring that up. But they are a really good team, and they're all great.
We're rooting for it. We love the Big Ten showing this year. So
exactly. See, that's the spirit.
Yeah.
So, as a pitcher, do you? I don't believe you've ever batted the season, but have you batted in college at all?
Not in college, no.
Do you miss it?
I do. It's a different sense of pressure up there, when you only get one shot and then you sit for like 3 innings versus me as a pitcher who's like literally every minute for 10 minutes and then you switch. So I do miss it, but I don't miss I was never able to compartmentalize. So if I struck out, then I'd be frustrated when I got out there on the mound. So I don't miss that of trying to break everything apart and try to do it because that's impossible. Pitchers I don't know how hitting pitchers do it. But I was never good about saying oh, I struck out, I'll just come out and pitch well. It was always stressed out all the time.
Have you bugged your coach on any of the teams? Have you bugged the coach to let you bat once?
My first day at Auburn, I had to bat because they just wanted everyone to swing a bat. And the next day I had open blisters on my hand. I couldn't pitch for a couple days because it was open. So that was the end of that.
Yeah, I guess priorities would be pitching.
Exactly. Yeah, and rightfully so. I was yeah, this has been happening again. And he was yeah, no, we're not doing this.
No, when you're not playing softball, you're not, obviously right now you're preparing for your trip to Italy, but putting that aside, when you're not playing softball, what do you like to do to just get away from everything?
Sure. I love to spin classes. So I love movement. Movement is my excerpt for my anxiety and my pressure from softball, everything. So I go there a lot. It's called Cycle Bar. It's a competitive atmosphere and I love it. So let's see, I hang out with friends a lot. I love to cook too. So I'm always trying to explore different recipes. I love air frying. Air frying has been my thing for the last couple of years. So I'm always literally when I was opening your email, my last 10 tabs across my top were air frying, sweet potatoes, air frying, broccoli, everything. So yeah, that's fine. And I don't know, I'm an adventurer. I like to shop. I like to go on road trips if I have, a weekend off or finding somewhere to go or new restaurants to try. So
if you're a cook, what's your go-to dish or what's your specialty dish?
My go-to, I love, I said, I love air frying and I love wings, chicken wings. So I've kind of mastered the air fried wings and not to float my own boat, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. So that's
you serve them for the team?
No, absolutely not. Just me. Because the air fryer takes 20 minutes, and you can only do so many at a time. So yeah, no, they don't get that from me.
Now, when I talk to players, and I've been around the softball for a while, it seems to me there's such a unique bond in softball. Maybe every sport would say this, but I've covered them all. And it seems like in softball, there's just a different bond between the players. Is that something that you've noticed?
Yeah. And I don't know exactly what it is. And I don't think I'll ever know exactly what it is. But it's like softball is so hard, mentally, physically draining at times. And like being a female is hard enough sometimes. So when you get to do that with 22 other people and you get that connection of like, hey, this sucks right now, but this sucks for you and you and you and you and you and all there in the locker room. And we're still choosing to do it. So like, yeah, I definitely do think there's a different sense of community in the softball world. And we've seen that even like across teams, when unfortunately the Lauren from JMU, when that tragedy happened last month when she took her life, like there was such a community that rallied around them. So, even things like that make sure that softball is a special sport to be a part of.
I forgot one thing I forgot to ask you earlier on was, people look at the softball players, or pretty much any sport, but people look at softball players, go, wow, they're having fun. They're out there playing softball. Could you go through a little bit of like what your week looks like? Because I know you guys practice a lot and you have school and then you have travel. Could you kind of give us a real brief recap of like, how busy are you during the week?
Yeah, for sure. So usually it's hard being in the north because we travel a lot in the first 3 months. So we would leave usually on a Thursday. We'd be gone Thursday and Friday. So we'd miss classes on Thursday and Friday, play, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, jump on an airplane, come back. Usually wouldn't get back until 10, 11, even sometimes midnight. So by the time you unpack your bag at the locker room, because you have to put all your laundry loops in there, all your uniforms have to get washed, bring your stuff back. I mean, I live 20 minutes from campus, so it's a late night. Mondays were usually our off days. So we would have like treatment and then any classes that you have. And then that's when I would schedule like my therapy sessions, my, if I needed to see any doctors for like shoulder stuff, back stuff, whatever it is. And then I would go to cycle bar, ride, get my legs moving a little bit. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, so you only have really 2 practices a week during season. And so those like 4-hour practices are very, very, very focused because we're preparing for the next pitchers that we're going to see. And so, yeah, we would practice from about 2 to 5:30-ish. Wow. And then we would have classes. You could have classes before or after. So I'm in grad school, so my schedule is a little bit more flexible. My classes were usually after, which sucked. So I would have class literally from like 7 to 9:30 at night and then get up the next morning. And my schedule this semester was kind of crazy because I had a night class on Wednesday until 9:30. And then I had an 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. Ooh. That's a quick turnaround.
That's a little bit brutal.
Yes. And like I live outside of Columbus. So like going into the city, like I would leave my house by like 7:10 to make it to my 8 a.m. on time and be comfortable and not like sprinting in the door at the last.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. So yeah, our schedule is crazy. It's hectic, but it's worth it. It is. And I would redo this 100 times over. And I think that's why I want to get into coaching, because like I don't ever want this to go away, ever.
Well, Lexie, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I love talking softball. I love your enthusiasm. I love your faith and your courage. I wish you a ton of success in Italy. I would love to talk to you again after that for you to tell us all about your Italy experience, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Other than that, I wish you good luck. Get back to your preparing for the trip. Good luck on the trip. Safe travels. And again, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.